Okay, so I've done the required number of chains. I'm doing a sample, so it's not the required number for the blanket, but it's for a sample. And then I've also single crocheted into that chain, so that's completed row 1, the foundation row. At the end of that row, you chain 1, turn the piece, and this is one of the few times in this blanket that you do turn it, and then you slip stitch into that first stitch. Okay, now we are ready to start the triangles. To start the triangles, you insert your hook into the first single crochet, pull up a loop, you've got 2 loops there, yarn over, go through the first loop only, so still 2 loops. That creates the first vertical bar, yarn over, go through the last 2 loops. Now for the next row in the triangles, the next step, you go through that vertical bar you just made. It's right there. Pull up a loop, and then into the next single crochet, pull up a loop. So now there's 3. Excuse me. Yarn over, go through the first loop only, and then you go through 2 loops and 2 loops. So it's difficult to see at first when the triangle is still small, but you have a vertical bar here and a vertical bar here. So for the next row, you go into that vertical bar, pull up a loop, into the next vertical bar, pull up a loop, then into the next single crochet, pull up a loop. Yarn over, go through the first loop only by itself, which creates that first vertical bar. Yarn over, go through 2, and go through 2 loops, and then through the last 2 loops. Okay, you see that? Again, for the next row, through vertical bar. There's a vertical bar there, there's one there, and there's one there. So you go through that first vertical bar, pull up a loop, next one, pull up a loop, last one, and pull up a loop, and then into the next single crochet. Okay. Yarn over, go through the first one only, and then through 2 at a time until you're back up to the top of the triangle, 1 loop left. Okay. So as this triangle grows, you will begin to see the lines, the vertical bars kind of lining up, and it makes them kind of easier to see. So again, you through the vertical bars, pull up a loop. Okay, the last one. And now into the next single crochet, going into the next single crochet, and then doing this yarn over and through that loop by itself. That is what's building up your triangle. That's creating another vertical bar right there, which builds the height of your triangle. Okay, yarn over, go through 2 all the way back, 2 loops at a time, all the way back to the top of the triangle. Okay, this tail keeps getting in my way. So I'll do 1 more row, and then I can point out the rows of vertical bars. 1 more. In the, I don't want to confuse you, 1 more step, which is another line of vertical bars. So into the single crochet by itself, and then 2 at a time. Okay, so just to show you the vertical lines, the bars that are sort of being created by this stitch. You can see them there, there, there. Okay. So just continuing on until you get to 9 vertical bars. Another thing to really be careful about is your tension, because it's very easy to do this far too tightly, and then it gets very difficult to work with, and it doesn't sort of have a nice drape at the end. So sometimes your work will begin to curl. Don't worry about that. It's because it's at the beginning parts. I'm trying to keep it from curling in front of the camera. Okay. Okay, through one, and then two all the way back up, two at a time. Okay. Oops, one vertical bar, not two. Okay, let me see how many vertical bars I have here at the end of this row, this step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Okay. So this is now the beginning of step 10 in your beginning Entralac triangle instructions. So you go through these 9 vertical bars. This will be second last row of this particular triangle. Okay, and then the next single crochet, and then okay, now we've done all the vertical bars in the triangle, but now we need to bind off these triangles so you can get your hook back down here so you can start your next triangle. To do this, you very loosely, I have to say, make sure you're loose, because these stitches will be the basis of your next row, and if they're tight, it's difficult to get your hook in. So what you do is you go into the vertical bar like you have been, pull up a loop like you have been, but now instead of collecting them on your hook, you pull it through the loop on your hook. So it's a slip stitch. In through the vertical bar, pull up the loop and slip stitch it through the loop on your hook. In through the vertical bar and slip stitch. Hope you can see that. Vertical bar, slip stitch, and keep them loose so that you are able to work back into those stitches in the next row. Okay? And the last one. Okay. Now, there it is. One completed Entralac triangle with a bind off row, and now you're ready to continue into the next one. Starting right back at step 1, into the next single crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over through 1, yarn over through 2. Oops. Okay, and from then on you can just follow the rest of the steps like we just did and build your next triangles.